You don't have to use the same one. You can.
This much of a turning place and grab up. This guy went over to the table and goes, "Oh, I like you." So what I'll do is turn the player. Where is he? There he is, over there.
Right.
Jeff. Well, who's obviously on the group line? There you go, mate.
That was the one you got out of the region.
Yeah. It wasn't. And Spenny.
When you can't have sight tests for the coaches.
I don't think they do.
We all fail.
You're crazy if you coach. Let's face it. I'll show you that.
Gia. Yeah, that's not me, David.
Okay, sorry. It's better than Andrew. No, you're crazy if you coach. I mean, pre-season is the good time. 25 kids turn up. You train like crazy. Nobody's disappointed. We haven't lost a game. You've got to get down to your 10. You cut 15 kids out here. You start the game. You sit 5 on the bench. You get a whole bunch of parents looking at you going, "Why didn't my kid start?" So they don't like you. And then you lose.
Let's go, right? Yeah.
Everybody hates you. Yeah. But you know, you're out too much, your wife's not happy, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, Gio was saying that he went into a clinic and the coach had wound up all the rings. And the kids just stared at the ring saying, eventually they'll come down. And they didn't, because his objective was ball handling, passing, etc., etc., etc. I walked into a primary school in just down south of where I live, and I got asked to run a clinic, but I didn't know that this particular primary school, it was the area had just gone through the roof because everybody was moving over to Perth, and this particular area. They had 1,200 kids in a primary school. Crazy. So you can imagine I'm doing one grade. Well, now I've got way too many kids. And we're in a tennis court, and so I was looking out there thinking a similar thing. And we spent the whole, by mistake, because I wanted them to do some shooting drills. By mistake, we spent the whole session shooting the ball up against these fences. But watching the tennis coaches go out and teach the kids to serve, they'll line up 10 kids here and serve against the fence. Kids will go and pull their ball out of the fence because sometimes it gets stuck. But that's what they're not serving to the spot on the court. They're just serving. They're getting through the action rather than worrying about the result. They're just performing the process first, and then they worry about the result later. So the most neglected part, and you're going to come up against Nunawading and Dandenong, and I don't know what you guys run. You're going to pass the ball in, and you have 2 kids sitting here, pressing the crap out of you. And we will have run a coordinated offense down here, shooting at the end result. Yeah. Turn over lap, turn over lap, turn over lap, turn over lap, turn over lap. Sub in the bench, and now we start getting into the game and be till we're 27 down. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first 80 feet, and I said at dinner, the first 30 metres, and Darrell went, no, the court's only 28 metres long. He's thinking he's smarter. No, I said there is a reason why they designed this game. It gives markers for basketball. We know now where the third is, and we know where to inbound the ball from. So netball has a use. Now, it's taken a long time, but there is a use. Do you play netball? No? No? There's two other guys put their hands up. I played netball. I coached netball. Anyway, get them back from the line. Use the netball line as the marker. Sometimes it won't be there, sometimes you just have a basketball court, fair enough. But use that as the marker. So Darrell thought, I'll say 28, because I know, but I said no. The netball court's 30 metres. And he didn't ask, well, what do you do with that one at that end? So 29.
I'll still wonder how
Right. So anyway, what I'm saying is the inbounds needs to be worked a long way from the line. So when I'm passing the ball in here, and this person's pressuring me on the line, I'm under pressure. But the whole thing is about space. And creating some space, well, you may as well do it there, it's easy. So discipline them. Now what if they step up to the line and pass the ball? Turn over. In training, turn over. Turn over. Turn over. They'll get it. They'll get it super quick. And the thing is that what you're saying is, you know that they're going to pay the price for that at some stage, but because they got it in, you're going to allow the end result to be okay. Now, we're not looking at the end result anymore. We're looking at the process to become good players. And the process means I need space, just because I happen to get away with it. So put this in place, say to them, you need to make a decision. Turn over. Come on, that's ridiculous. Yep, catch, turn over. Now, catch, look, good, no problems. How quick did you fix that? And now all of a sudden they're making decisions. How often can they catch in domestic and go catch, put the ball on the deck and get away with it? 99 times out of 100. How many times can they do it in junior state league?
Not really.
Every second week. They're not a very good team, they can do it. They play a trapping team, just going to sit there, they're in trouble straight away. So you know that you're building a habit. It's like saying, well, we live on a farm, so therefore it's okay if you cross the road like that. Well, now go to the city. Bonk. Taking charges off buses. Right? It's not good. Do you know what I mean? So don't allow them to do something that you know is going to pay, you're going to pay the cost later. No, don't allow them to do it now. And you've got to be on top of that sort of stuff. Now you might say that today our focus is that, and you might allow the straight pass. No problems. Now you've cured that. They step back from the line. They catch, look before they go. If everything's a turnover, it's going to drive them nuts. There's no enjoyment in that. You've got to be working with them. Today our point of emphasis is, now we've done that for a couple of weeks, we've got that. Now, every pass, so can you steal this ball? No. Can you steal this one? Without even moving. Without even moving, she could put a hand in the lane. So, I want you to throw, kids today, we're throwing outside hand passes. What are we throwing to the little girls? Outside hand lead passes. How do they feel about this? They like this.
You don't have to catch it.
They don't have to catch it. And we'll build up to that later, that they're feeling in the game. And I can do this and I can control this. Is it a good habit? Yeah. What am I relating the game around? Defense. They're not passing to offense. What do the little girls and boys do? They see offense and they pass to offense and they don't relate it to defense. So straight away you're teaching, no, I want you to pass it out wide, lead away from the defense. And straight away now we're teaching them to move away, pass away from defense.
Spacing.
Huh?
Space.
Helps create spaces. Yeah. And it means that there can be some flow. They're not standing there going, will you get open? No, I'm going to make you get open. I'll throw the ball over there and you can run into it.
They've had a lot of kids in coaching suits where they just stand.
Yeah.
Throw it to you. They just stand.
Yeah, and especially in the lower grades of domestic,
Yeah.
what do? If they know the kid's name, What's your name? Darrell. Right? And they stand, and all stand here. And then we say, can you hop up? You got the pass. You stand there. We're all on the same team. Spread out. Now what did you mean? Well, that's what they thought. Because in grade 3, spreading out is, don't touch it. We're spread out. That's what the teacher said spreading out is. What do you want it to do? Move. It doesn't move. So you've got to be more specific. You've got to talk in their world. So you say, you might have been down and said, hey, you might teach them basketball terminology. You say, you know what, see that basket and that basket? Let's pretend there's a line down there. We're going to call that split line. Right? Talking to these guys. That was you when you were 2, anyway. So, right? Okay, so split line, right? These guys, and ball's in here. You have to touch the other side of the split line before you can call for the ball. Now what have we got? All the spacing that you want. Now, how many times do you have 4 cutters coming straight back to the ball? 0. Because one kid goes, that's right. And the other one who's pretty switched on, not quite as switched on, goes, oh, that's right. And then the other one goes, and then the other one goes, what are we doing? I was trying not to get off any of the lines and get all the way down the court. I had a kid do it. Is it like a badminton court? And he's trying to get down from one, he's like 6 or 7 or something. Stupid. Anyway, what I'm saying is they all come back at different times, and all of a sudden, you using the parameters inside the court. Now, what other things do you have out there? Netball gave us some, but also you have 3-point line. So when you pass and you cut, you need to get to the 3-point line before you're allowed to come back. Now, do you have the spacing that you want now? Yeah. And you use the parameters inside the court. The kid can understand that. Easy as pie. So anytime that you pass the ball and you cut, but then you're allowed to go back in, you're allowed to cut somewhere else. Well, now you've got different cuts going at different times and all that sort of stuff, just in a dumb domestic game, not in a junior representative game. So using the parameters that they understand. Okay, let's get into this offense. I wanted to design something that, I went down to the camp, there's not one single post player in the camp. Not one. I don't know what, it's in the water or something? What was that? There's no post players. And you're not going to help either. But I mean, you don't have a true, genuine, big person that you know is going to be a post player at the VBL or whatever. Do you? You don't have a monster. You don't have a kid that you think is going to be 6'8" and there's a power post. That's the person we're going to slot into the post. So who goes into the post? Because it's very hard for a whole club to run 5-out offense.
The biggest kid you've got.
The biggest kid you've got. Yeah, so you have to put the biggest kid you've got in there. Should he go in there? Because he's only going to be 6'2" when he finishes growing. Should he go in there? Yeah. Of course he should. He should go in there because he needs to serve his club. Because this is about community. And everybody serves a bit. Are you all serving tonight? Of course you are. And you're building skills so that you can serve your community a little bit better in your chosen sport that you love. Okay, so he's got to go in. So the club, he needs to serve the club. Does the club need to serve him? Of course, so he needs to get out too. So yes, he's got to go in and serve the club, but yes, we've got to get him out as well so we can teach him some perimeter stuff so we haven't shattered his career. Because if we go and shove him inside and say, you stay in the low block for the next 4 years, we've wrecked him, her, whoever. So we need to get them in and get them out. So I'm sitting there saying, okay, I want to have a program that throws the ball to the wing. Why? Where's the best place to start an offence? The best place, but it's illegal, would be to start it around here. But every now and again we need to start it there. That's a brilliant place. Maximise that. Maximise that, because nobody can play defence on that person. But would you like this place on the court if the referee said nobody's allowed to touch them in that amount of space? Would you like that spot? Would you like to have somebody with the ball in that spot with rules which says, well, that's that spot, same distance. So you can run something from there. They're not allowed to shoot it, obviously. This person's not allowed to shoot it. But you can get your timing perfect. And you can run something from the baseline. So you need to work on the baseline and make sure that you get that something good out of that situation. When do we go? When do most teams go? Who did we get ready? The defence. Was the offense ready? Why not? I know. So the ref's about to give their team the ball. Their mate standing behind the line, back because he's learnt that he needs to stand near the netball line. And he's standing there and he's about to put the ball in place. And those kids haven't worked out that you've got the ball. They need to be ready. There needs to be a point of emphasis. They've got to be ready. So when's the best time for them to get moving?
When the ref hands the ball.
When the ref's about to hand the ball. One tiny little step. So now they're all on the move before he's even got the ball. Everybody's already executing their play. What do we do? Yeah, everybody get ready. All 10 of them get ready. We don't want all 10 of them to get ready. We only want 5 to get ready. Or the other 4 to get ready. So that would be the best place for us to run an offense from. But the reality is that we don't get there very often, and to go and stand there would mean we lost the ball because we just walked out of bounds. So that would be smart. So where's the defence? Roughly, is defence all over the court? Roughly. Depending on where our players are, let's say we're predominantly man-to-man. Have you, I don't need to go down that discussion, do I? We're predominantly man-to-man.
The VJBL have introduced under 14s man-to-man this year and under 12s was last year. So
Yeah.
no zone. No zone.
No zone, yeah. So well, what about 16s?
That's going to be introduced in the next few years. But
It's the same in domestic. First half, no zone.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So but you've gone through the concept. I just don't want to spend half an hour. Okay. So let's say the defence is all there. Now, guys, what we've done is
Daniel, sorry, Daniel. Yeah.
we've thrown the ball. You guys having your own discussion now. That's what part of the idea was, to inspire discussion, but not while I'm doing it. Okay. So we've thrown the ball to the wing. What have we done? Yeah, shift the defence. What if they didn't? They're not involved in us, so they're not going to bother us getting to the hoop unless they shift. We wanted to either keep them there or shift them. Either way works for us. So just a simple wing entry means that we're off to the start. Now, when you start this, start with a wing entry. What will the opposition do? Stop you from getting what you want. So they won't let you get a wing entry. But you need a starting point. Eventually, you can find other ways to enter the ball. You can dribble out. You can dribble over, pass to the post, pass to the wing, get into your offense. There will be different ways for you to get it done. But initially, when you're first teaching it, just get it to the wing. So I wanted to get the ball to the wing because already it makes the defence react. We don't want to stick our kid in the post and leave him in the post because he's not always going to be a post player. So therefore, we want to get him out of the, we want to get him out of that area every now and again. Yep. We wanted to get the kids to be able to handle coming off a screen, being able to make a cut and being able to do it at a decent tempo. Are they all fair things that you would like to throw into the mix of an offense? Yep. So what else is there? Perimeter shooting. Yep, we want to have our kids have the ability to shoot from the perimeter. If they can't shoot from the perimeter, what will the opposition do? Sag off and say, shoot, no, I don't care. You can't hit a high enough percentage to bother us. So yes, we have to be progressing them towards shooting from the perimeter. So there are all the things that I threw on the table and said, you know what, I want to create an offence that's going to use all that. It's not necessarily a senior offence. It's a junior development offence. It encompasses all that. So what I said was, let's throw the ball to the wing. Our post players aren't big, so let's not bother. Let's get them out straight away. Get them to the other side of the floor. We'll come back to this, but what does the defence do now? What does their defence do if he cut over here?
Follow the play.
He'll follow a bit, and then what he'll do? Yep. So he's going to be told, stay on the split line, maybe even a little bit ball side of the split line. Yep. So now we've got top there. And we know it. Because we know that's the way their coach will have trained him. Right? Okay? So we've got the ball on the wing. I want them to cut. I want ball movement, I want player movement. I don't want point guards sitting around able to steal the ball. So pass and get through. Use that perimeter. So now he's outside the 3-point line. Yep. We got the other post guy, the second tallest guy. What's the chances of him just going in there and powering up and getting the ball? Terrible. But for him to be on the move to catch the post, ball in the post, yeah, that's a possibility. Because the other guy's got to run with him. And whenever we look before, when we can get somebody running, they can be vulnerable. You can catch the ball, and might be able to go to work. Might be able to. So, we want this guy to cut. We want this guy to flash, and we want this guy to lift. Did we get everything we wanted? No. So we'll get this guy to come over here instead of screaming when that guy flashes. So, are we moving our posts around? Yeah, we've got him inside and we've got him outside. We've got him outside and we've got him inside. And we've run off screens and we've cut and we've got a ball in the wing. And I just sat around and made it up. Because I didn't like the shuffle and I didn't like the flex. I didn't like the triangle. Why is the triangle often so successful?
Post.
Huh?
Strong post.
Yeah, strong post play. What was Luke Longley's advantage in that?
He's Jordan with him.
Yeah. The guy that was catching the ball. And then it worked again with the Lakers. There you go. So, why don't you run shuffle with Michael Jordan? Reckon it'll work? Of course it will. Yeah. Why don't you run blue? Why don't you run gold? Why don't you run whatever? There's a good chance it's going to work. What do they run with LeBron? What do they run with LeBron? Whatever he likes. Yeah, whatever he likes, and then what do after they finish with that? I gave it to Dwayne Wade and said, now you run what you like for a while. Now why does that work there and it can't work here? And I'll go into that and I'll come back to this. Everybody is chasing advantage. If you can get an advantage on the court, and we call it isolation plays and all that sort of stuff, but if you can get that on court, why do you run a 2-on-1 drill? We can fly the ball down the floor and have two of us, we'll have an advantage over that one and we'll get a lap. That's advantage, pursuing advantage. Why do they spend so long drafting? In the draft, the NBA draft, the AFL draft, and what's this? To get an advantage. So maybe we might be getting a Dirk Nowitzki or a LeBron James or a Kevin Durant. So we want an advantage. We want a 3-on-2. Yep. So they're pursuing advantage all the time. What if you don't have a draft? What's the draft like? Okay. There's a consistent theme coming out there. Okay, so, all right, it's spelled different. Daft. Okay, so, What if the opposition gets back real quick? You don't get that advantage. So what advantage what do you know that they're going to teach defensively?
Get back quickly.
Yep, sorry, in the half court. So we're going to play Waverley.
Straight side double, weak side, split side help, all that sort of stuff.
So you know they're going to play, they're going to practice shell group. You know it. So who has positional advantage? There's the ball here. Who has positional advantage? What's this guy got to do? What's he got to do to score? A lot. He's got to do a lot. What does this guy got to do? A lot, not quite as much. What's this guy got to do? Not as much. If we can get the ball to him quickly, what's he got to do? Lots. So that's positional advantage. The ball reversal. Getting the ball from one side of the floor to the other, knowing that they've spent all this time coordinating their shell defense. Can we get them? Are they going to move like that? Not after a while. Not after a while. At stage, they'll start to break down. Their timing won't be quite right. This kid won't adjust as quick as that kid. So to get ball reverse is super key to the offense, because it'll give us an advantage that we can trust. We can't trust the draft. We can't trust the fast break. But yes, we still want it. We still want that big kid. So we're walking past, and no joke, I'm walking past the court, and I look out on the court, and I go, oh my goodness, there's this kid out there, and I've heard, and he's only 12, and I go, wow, he's a bit chunky, probably not going to grow much. And I go on and talk to him, and he's 6'2", and I go, mate, I was thinking of seeing if you want to play with my basketball team. And he goes, I'm 16, mate. You want my little brother? He's 6'5". He's 12 years old. He's got guns. I'm not joking. He's an NBA body. I go and work with him for a few weeks. He plays his first junior representative game. He falls over. Second junior game, he falls over in the middle of the keyway because he shoved the ball in the front of the rim and flipped up and tried to dunk it in his second game of basketball. No joke. I talked to the Wildcats about it. Don't tell them about this. They signed him straight away. They say he has options with us before he gets to talk to anybody else. That's how we win. Now, you still want that kid, but you can't trust that situation, because how many of them come on? Once a generation. Once every 10 years, maybe. So you don't get them very often. You still want the fast break option, 2 against 1. You still want it. You still push for it, you still train for it. But you can't always depend on it. What if they decide to play a very conservative game? Step back. You want to get your running game, they're playing containment the whole time. Frustrating, taking you out of what you want to do, etc., etc. That's their job. But ball reverse, you can pretty much trust. If you ball reverse enough times during a game of basketball, you will catch people out. They won't rotate at the speed that they need to. And then all of a sudden you go, do I need to? No, I do. Close out. I don't have to close him out, can't shoot. Oops, he can shoot when we try. So now he's got to run at you. And it doesn't matter if I'm faster than you, it doesn't mean one bit. If I'm running in this direction and you're running in that direction, I can't defend you properly. So we want to create closeout situations, and the best way to do that is through ball reversal. So I wanted ball reversal in this thing as well. So let's have a look at it. And this is what we're going to teach a chunk of this tomorrow to the kids. Now, does that mean, and I don't know if I'm stepping on toes here, does that mean that that's all you're allowed to run? No. But it means you've got to know how to run it. Your kids got to know how to run it.
And just before you tell me, so you're talking reverse, I say like swing the ball?
Yeah,
swing it back.
Swing it to the other side.
Swing it to the other side.
And that's important as well. One of my mates he was captain of Australia in 2 different sports. Can you imagine that? That's freaky stuff. Underwater hockey and photo fishing. Big time sports. The spectators.
Where's the jet?
We got a lot of issues. We have 5 things to do. Yeah, okay, so he's captain. Anyway, so he's kept. They used to have spectators. The old drag. Anyway, who's one of my best friends? He says, "Oh, I don't want to use." He starts helping me out coaching. He says, "I don't want to use this terminology. I want my bigs here, and I want my littles there." And I go, "But the next coach needs that terminology. And the coach before gave them that terminology. And why don't you want to use that terminology? Because it's hard for you. It's easy for the kids. So you need to establish terminology. So the kids understand that a switch on a screen means this. A show on a screen means this. A swing the ball at Pakenham means what reversing the ball means at Lakeside. Or wherever I'm going to coach. Do you know what I mean? So you need to establish reasonable terminology so it can be passed along, and then you're up on the whiteboard or whatever with the kids, and you just got to split line, blah, 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 understand the chunk of the terminology. When you do the level 0, the level 1, the level 2 courses, they will say, one of the very first points, this is, I couldn't hear, this is the terminology that we're going to use inside basketball. Okay? So you're right with that. All right, so we want to get a wing entry. We want to get a wing entry roughly around here. We want him or her, depending on what age group, to be 1 dribble or 2 dribbles away from the hoop. Now, what's their very first thing that they do? Remember we had a post play here? What do we do with the post play? Clear them. Straight away. Yep. So what might be their very first thing they get when they touch the ball? What? Close.
Feed the post?
No, post is disappear. They can shoot the ball. The very first catch they make is, and this is basketball timing. This is basketball timing right across the plane. Me, you, me. Me, I'm open. Me, drive. When is the time that you're going to be the most open? When you first catch the ball. You made a cut, I've caught the ball, he's a metre behind. What's he doing now? Encroaching up. But when I first caught the ball, that's when the freest I was going to get. And then I'm going to get less free and less free and less free. So therefore, catch, shot. Do you want it first play? Probably not. What if it's ridiculous? Yeah, you probably do. But anyway, I'll leave that with you. So now he comes up, but he's coming up at speed. I know that there's a potential hole there, and I go, rip. Now, what if it's not? I don't go. What skill have I just used? Decision making and pivot. So I've looked for me, but I haven't gone anywhere. So I've gone, me. Yep. Is he still there? Because that's the only reason I probably didn't go. You. No. You. Me. So their timing on that wing would be catch, me, you, me. Can you see that? Catch. Is that, did everybody get that? So what can they do in our homework that we listed here? Mike Krzyzewski came up with this concept. Not that, but he came up with the concept of, back in the days when it wasn't that very long ago, they were extremely restricted with how long they were able to train their kids in group situations. But they'd have different amounts of individual, and I don't know what all the rules and regs were on it, but they had different amounts that they were allowed to coach individuals, small groups, and teams. And he had his players running their offense in their individual sessions. So inside the homework, can they run the offense? Yeah. They can go, catch, me, you, me. They just worked on the timing for their offense, for the first stage of the offense. Does everybody follow that? Yep, okay. Now this person's screened away. We run that person through. What's the chances of somebody scoring off that cut?
Hard running away from the basket.
Huh?
It's hard running away from the
Yeah, it's hard running away. I don't like it. This is my one down. I don't like it. But I work with it later. But I don't like that one. But when you're initially teaching it, run that one. Go pop. What did this guy do? He died. Yep. That guy's gone through, and the point guard's gone through. How many people do we have on this side? Two. How many on this side? And this is the way I teach. This is the way I teach. Two guards. Two posts. It was I'm not joking, it was a church team as well. It was. Anyway. So there's two on one side, one on the other. So the guards work together and the posts work together. You got that? And it doesn't matter if they get out of time with each other. So the posts need to be in time with each other. The guards need to be in balance with each other. You need two guards on one side, one on the other. What if we stuff it up? Now, some of you, because you got the maths problems wrong, you might be, oh, there's three. We need to get one over here. That's all we would have to do. One's high, one's low, with the posts. Posts are working together, the guards are working together. Now, can everybody picture where we're headed? I'm not saying that you've got it, but can you sort of picture where we're headed? We've got a wing entry. We've got a wing entry and a basket cut and a blast cut. Is that good to teach that stuff? Yeah. We wanted everybody to do that. Do we have the defence on the move?
Yes.
Yeah. Are the defence adjusting to us?
Yes.
Could we run this at a tempo? At a reasonable tempo? Yeah. Going, through. We could run that at a tempo. So we could run straight into that. So it's ticking all the boxes that we wanted. Are we putting a kid in the post? Yes. Are we putting a big kid out on the perimeter? Yes. How do we ball reverse? Here, there, swing, ball swing. Yep. Where is he now? He's away from where, remember we had the guy at the start, we had him here and he went away? He's already away from the ball. So what can he do? Dive? Lift. What does he do? Last cut. This guy lifts it a little bit. Can you picture that? Now, four of us. How many people do we have over here now? This guy just lifted up into here. One. Four of us. Remember, this guy dived down here. This guy lifted up to here. Last cut. We've got continuity with it. Kids are flowing into something and they know now. How do you teach it?
Just on that, is that why you run it so quick? Because that's when you can then start bringing in your subs quick, like rotations, more often?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the game is going to be what's the grand final like?
Collingwood's good.
Yeah.
You remember that, don't you?
What?
It's only 5 years now.
Always.
Okay, good. Okay, so we're back into this now. So we want to go at tempo because they're going to get played at tempo at some stage. If you replace, can you play it slow? Yeah. Can you play it fast? Yeah. So does it really matter? Practice it fast or practice it slow? What if we haven't got a score? What if our tempo is just, these kids are running too fast? Stop it. Slow it down. All right, get open on the wing, bang, basket cut, we're into it. That's a tempo change. Nothing wrong with that. What if we want to speed it up? Exactly the same offense, doing a little bit faster. What if you practice flat out? What if you do say, guys, you have to be the earliest person, you have to go this flat out, faster than everybody. How well will they know it? You'll expose the kid that doesn't know it really quick. Because he needs to be first. And you say, everybody, you've got to be the first cutter. Who can't be first? Go with the ball. You go with the ball. So to teach it, separate the two. And that's what we'll do tomorrow with the can. Is we'll go pass, cut, last cut, 3 on 3. Just the guard positions. And we'll break it down into 3 on 3 and they'll be running the offense just with those guys running the offense. Then you might go to teach the other coach. Coach spins the ball out, ball slaps, whatever, green away, lift, dive, 2 on 2. Just in the post, working on that. Work on that, work on that, put them together. Now it's hard for you to get a total picture of that. That's the idea of tomorrow we video and we mic it up, or we try to get as much audio as we can. And then you can get a clip of that and we'll break it down tomorrow and we're going to teach it as a 1 on 0, a 1 on 1, a 2 on 2, a 3 on 3, and step it aside. Then we're going to teach it as a 2 on 2, high and low. And then we're going to bring it together and run that as a combination of a continuity and a motion offense coming together. Now, there's reads in it as we go along. So I'm going to flash now to get really advanced in it. Can't get a wing entry, dribble it. Can't get anything happening on this side. The post player's here, pass to the post, pass to the wing. Now where is everybody? Does this guy need a basket cut? No, he's over there. We've already got 2 on the side and 1 on the side. Yep, this guy basket cut. Down, up, or reverse. Go back into it. It says multiple entries into it. Tony Ronson. The biggest backside ever in the history of he did. When he dies, we're going to find a couple of guards in there. Right now, Ricky Grace said to have that sort of a screen was just unbelievable, and he was so smart. So I'm only mucking around. Don't want to disrespect. He's pretty. Paul Rogers, Tony Ronson, Ricky Grace. Incredible combination. Paul Rogers said he was the only player ever to win the MVP and be the second best player in his team. And he won the league MVP. And he said Ricky Grace would come off Tony Ronson's backside, go straight down here, and what would the help do? He'd have to come over and help. Little pass, he might try it up for an alley-oop, bounce pass, whatever. And then he had shooters out here, Anthony Stewart. Out here, hit the skids, kick out, because that guy helped. Or nobody helped, he'd score. Now, can you see that in the house? High post, ball, wing, low post, wing. Up, come down, look at that, whoops. Through here, bounce pass, lay out, kick out. There's lots and lots. Now, what if we decide that we're going to go to a handoff situation? I know I'm rushing through stuff now. This guy goes down, hands off to this guy, and he comes off. What could we get this guy to do? I'll just nail him right there. So hand off, screen, boom, guys inside. But that's advanced. Motion is your consistent thing. At the end of the game, you want to be yelling out motion, or whatever you decide to call this. Don't call it Andrew. Right?
Andy?
No.
You learn it.
So whatever you decide to call it, you call it pack. Whatever you want to do with it. But what I'm saying is that you teach the basics because it's that movement that gets defense moving. And it gives kids the ability to read situations and go, wow, I can go. Now what are your breakdown drills in it? We already talked about he can work on the entire offensive timing How does this kid learn to shoot from the perimeter? Because who said it's hard to score going away from the hoop? Yeah. Right? So therefore, he's going to screen away and go away from the hoop. He's got to learn how to score going away from the hoop. Now, he's going to be able to come around, make a step in there. It's not going to be that bad. Right? It's not going to be that bad. He's going to be able to catch the ball. So you've got post players now running drills, screen away, up, and they're passing the ball through here, and they're learning how to score there. Now, if I shot fake the ball, if I shoot the ball, what does the opposition do, generally?
Box out.
Box out? They worry about the ring, don't they? Okay. What if I drive the ball? What do? They collapse a little bit. What if I pass the ball? What do? They go out. So if I shot fake, what am I getting everybody to do? Close in a bit. If I drive fake, what am I getting everybody to do? Close in a bit. If I pass fake, what am I getting everybody to do?
Open up.
Get out. So I want to create space, pass fake. Right? I pass fake. So picture this one. This is the sort of breakdown drills that you can start to drill. This guy's caught the ball at the top. Where's the low post? Remember, he's dived into here. Yep. There's a guy out here, there's a guy out here, there's a guy here. We can pass fake to him. What's he going to do to this business? Probably step him up and drive to the hoop naked. So what I'm saying is that on your breakdowns with that big guy, so I've just given you two breakdowns. That wing guy that we're talking about, he's looking at his timing, catch, shoot, look, rip, drive, look, drive. So we've given him a chunk of things to work on. But now we're working on this guy who's going down here and screening away. We can throw him the ball and he can shoot it. We can throw him the ball, pass, fake, drive. Pass, fake, drive, stop, pull up. So he's got a whole bunch of breakdown things that he can do. What about the guy that's flashed into the post? Well, he's a post player now. There's a heap of things he can do. What about this guard? We can run drills where the guard penetrates, kicks out, catches and shoots. There's an enormous amount of repetitious breakdown drills that you can do time and time and time again that will give them the repetition that they're going to need to see those situations unfold in the game time and time again. That's probably enough on that. I'd probably love to just sit and you guys chuck some questions at me, or go home, whatever. What's the time?
About 15 minutes.
Okay. So, what do you got? Do you have anything? Do you might want to throw it at me? Can I just say that every single time I lecture, it's the person that asks the question that often gets the most out of it. And it's also that what we talked about really early was the reason why the team that I coached played pressure defence was because I was crap at teaching zone. Now I feel like I can teach zone, but I had to go out and learn it. And then I made my team play zone defences and zone offences for a while I got better at it, so that I could actually experiment. Yep.
Okay, on 12 boys, would you suggest for that motion there to run a ball through each position, or would you say, okay, get my bigger boys in there, you're playing post, this is going to be even on 12s?
Okay, so they're going to start teaching them. Oh, sorry, man. Is that one a bit scary? They're going to start teaching the kids science in grade 1, but they're not going to do the what do they call it? Empirical table.
Cut the rats out.
Yeah, they're not going to do that until year 10, right? And they're not going to do the empirical table until year 9 or whatever. And so you under 12s, you can't teach it too quick. That's the first thing. Yes, I would put every single player through every single position. The best post player the Wildcats ever produced was Ricky Grace. 6 foot against 6 foot. How many 6 foot guys play defence in the post? No. So you teach your 6 footer how to post up, you teach your 7 footer how to shoot. Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Darrell, etc., etc. So the game's changing. and coaches are getting smarter and all that sort of stuff. So there's nothing wrong with your 6 foot kid, your 5'2" kid is going to be 6 foot learning how to post up. And you know that your big kid is probably only going to be 6'3". And when you think that, you know, Damien Martin's 6'1", and he's a point guard, and he's not that big one. So you know that all the kids should learn the perimeter stuff, but there's nothing wrong with all the kids learning the post stuff as well. But I would go, initially, I would try to nail the pass and cut. They will struggle just with that to start off with. Now, what if you get the right starting point and you don't get anything else? You're better off than what you did when you didn't get the right starting point. Because at least we can grow from there. Do you know what I mean? We're going to go and build a house, but you can't get a hold of any land and you can't afford it. You can't even start. But you go and put a deposit on the land, well, you've made a start. And in 10 years' time, you might be able to do it. No, I'm not saying, but in 10 months' time, they might be able to do it. So you're thinking, yeah, the way I work in the teaching is when 80% of the group have 80% of the information, move on. Don't wait for 100 and 100. You'll never get there. There's a couple of kids that won't pick it up. There's a couple of kids that won't pick it up enough for you to be confident that you need to move on. No, you need to move on. Then they can come back and then you're going to say, Coach, what do I need to do? So you need to break this down. Here's some video, here's a whiteboard session, or go and talk to Jimmy, or here's your assistant coach to talk you through this. You need to go and practice this. What we had at the Wildcats was we had a slip of paper until we knew them well enough. So the psych sorted out whether or not they were doves or eagles or owls or whatever they were, and we have to look at and go, right, need to baby this one. Look, I like you. But you know, and we had to do something nice with them before we get them to, because everybody learns in a different way, in a different how. So I might put this on. Some of you, three or four of you have gone, got it. Now I walk you out on the court, and the 3 that pick that up don't know what I'm doing on the court, and 20 of you go, got it. Then I'm going to stick it on the screen, and 4 of you go, got it. You'll all learn different ways. Everybody does. So your kids, you're going to have to find different ways to teach them. Sometimes it's going to be a whiteboard session, sometimes it's going to be a video session, sometimes it's going to be on court session, sometimes it's going to be talking through. This is going back a few years, but I used to say to guys, well, wind the thing up in the middle of the day, and it just about is the shape of a keyway. Go and run your offense under your Hills hoist. You couldn't do it here. We can do it. We have 305 days a year. Yeah, you have to pick your day. So different kids. So I would just start with the start. Can I get the spacing I want? A wing entry and a basket cut and a blast cut. Can I get that? That's a pretty good start. And if under 12s, you can get that going, and then 2 or 3 weeks time, you go, you know what, they've got it. I'm gonna start shoving in this post stuff. Start working on that, and then add that. But yes, I would.
So break it all down into individual sections.
Yeah. And I definitely teach the post separate to the guards, and then plonk them together. Now, you wouldn't have taught an offense like that. Oops, I did it anyway. Did you have another one?
And we spoke about the game changing and about
Yes.
the post players, the 2s and 3s
Yeah.
and 4s and that. I'm not a big fan of coaching numbers on it because the kids start saying, I'm number 2, that's it, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of your life. But what we do, and Mark mentioned this, we use our big girl a lot that actually can shoot 3s and shoot 2s and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We run a drill, we run a motion play that actually shooting becomes the scorer. And we do that for a reason, is to get the people who've been taught over the years that I'm a post player and I'm only playing inside the key, and that's what I'm doing. And when you get our big girl coming outside that 3-4 line, that other big girl doesn't know what to do.
Correct.
Because all they've been taught is, I'm staying here and I've got told to protect the key while Kira's hitting 3s. So,
Perfect.
for us,
How
we've
old?
changed it a couple of years
How
ago.
old?
They're under 16s now. Yeah. And Mark's sort of you picked that And he's doing his big girl as well. Just to make the other defence girl very uncomfortable.
Well, one of the girls I do individuals with, which the fellows at the back saw play last week, in one of the games she had 36 or 38 points. She's 6'2".
Yeah.
She shoots from the perimeter.
Yeah.
I coached a team against Luke Longley's daughter. So you can imagine what, she's 6'5", at a very young age, just huge. And I said to the kids, so this was under 13s, I said, you're shooting from the perimeter all season, I don't care. We set a world record, easily. The most air balls ever shot. It was ridiculous. And I'd sub them out. If they got open and they didn't shoot it, sit. Didn't shoot it, sit. Now, we didn't perform very well, but we snuck into the Nationals, and we knocked off Longley's team in the final the following year, all from the perimeter. It's not about the win today. Now, who's going to struggle with that?
Parents.
Parents. Parents are going to struggle with it. So, part of my job in Western Australia is to sit in rooms like this and talk to parents. And I'll do an hour and a half with parents. Now, I said to the guys at the club I was involved with, we need to get the parents in the room. They're not going to be interested. We need to do it. It's not going to happen. I said, and I just walked in one day and said, I'm having a meeting on that day. We're running a clinic out there for all the kids. So the parents have got no excuse to look after my kids. No, we're running a free clinic. I'm bringing down all the SPL players. They're going to work with the kids out on the floor. The parents are going to go into the room and see what response we get. Anyway, he said, oh look, I think we'll get 20, but we put out 30 chairs just in case. 90 parents turned up in the room and just chatted. They want to know, who is the kid's coach? The mum and dad. Don't kid yourself. They're coaching them all the way to the game and all the way home. No, not every one of them, but a percentage of them are. If you resource that group, and that group understands where you're headed and why you're headed there, then there's going to be a level of engagement. Are you going to get the jerk? Of course. They're still there, still out there, and they're still going to arrive in one or two of your teams. Yesterday we sent a kid home because his dad berated him after the game. The coach said, hey, what are you doing? The dad said, how dare you interrupt me? The coach said, look, you're doing it in front of everybody, I don't think it's appropriate. The parent's given him a roasting. He's given the parent, this is not right, I don't want you to do it. The parent's 5'8", coach is 6'9". The parent feels very intimidated, embarrassed, says, kid, you're with me, we're out, jump on the plane and fly home. It's from a state program. Stupid. The kid's probably not going to get invited again. They're going to have to change states. You know. And
when junior basketball, your key stakeholders are your parents.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
They drive the kids to and from.
You betcha.
And I've spoken to somebody at length about that very issue, and that is the table talk. They're going to talk at the table, and if you haven't got buy-in from them, that talk can be counterproductive.
And you can say, don't talk, something happens.
Yeah. No.
There was an article on the VJV website in Victoria last year about that. In America, there is 30 million 12-year-olds register each year for organised sport. 80% of them do not register the next year because of the drive home.
That's right. So what I'm saying is the drive home is still going to happen. Just like if we leave the ball out on the court and we don't want the kids shooting the ball, we don't, my kids aren't allowed to shoot threes. They're going to go and shoot threes. As soon as you turn your back, they're going to shoot threes. So teach them how to shoot threes. Teach them about power and momentum, not about this and this. You can imagine an 11-year-old girl and you've focused on her elbow and her wrist and her release, and she's shooting a three, and the ball goes plonk. No, it's all about power and momentum, and we worry about that little bit later. That's not the first thing. Why is it often the first thing that's taught? It's because the coach went through a course where it got taught. It's not about that. It's about power, it's about momentum, and all that sort of stuff. And we don't have time.
Shouldn't they have technique, though? I was saying
Absolutely.
a little bit of that. Like,
No, without a shadow of a doubt. But it's the last thing. So it's, I've got to get my power base right. I've got to get momentum right, and I've got to finish right. So there's nothing wrong with finishing right, but everything is about the power and momentum. Now picture this. This is what we're discussing today. All that to get the ball there. Then they go. So all that power got wasted. All that power got used to get the ball to there, for them to go, no, it needs to be that. Everything's coming together. They're coming this far off the ground, and everything's coming together for them to be able to release and get the distance. Huh? Yeah, it's power and momentum. And how do you get power? If you were to say to them, what is your power base? And this is what I do, and I'll do it tomorrow morning, I'll say jump. And then I say 1, 2 jump, 1, 2 jump, 1, 2 freeze. That's your most powerful base. So if you jump up, go to use you again. We don't have long. Okay, put your feet together. Strongest little finger in the middle. Right, now go to jump and don't jump. Step into a jump. Yeah, with your feet apart and go 1, 2, ready to jump. Solid. Very set. Yeah, Brucey. What I'm saying is that's a powerful position. So that position is their power base. That's what they want to shoot from, pass from, dribble from, accelerate from. If you were to say to them, and I do it, sometimes I'll pull out a credit card and I go, you can have this for the day. Just go for it. First person to give me a high five gets it. And I hold it out and I say, and now go. And then I high five myself and stick it in the pocket. But what they do is they go, power position. And they drop into that natural power position. This is the position that gets, so if they can play in this position, they can move. Rather than go from here to there, that's slow. From here to there, that's quick. Does that make sense? So they want to play the game in power position. They want to catch the ball into a shooting power position. And now their momentum, their feet come off the ground as they go through the shot and everything comes through. Now what do we have to unteach later? When they get stronger and stronger. Kirk Penny goes. Because he's so strong that he only needs that much to project that thing that many metres. Huh? 400 metres. Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you remember a guy by the name of Aaron Trahere. Yeah, he came from here too. Yeah. He could sit on the ground at 3/4 court and go. And I'm not joking, he could shoot the ball from here to that dude, sitting on the ground. Strongest, James Bridle, the coach at that time, the strength and conditioning coach, said he's the strongest man he'd ever met, naturally. But he did no work on his, he didn't work out. But ridiculously strong naturally. So yes, when they get stronger and stronger, we don't want to unteach. So the very last bit is all good, but the momentum and the power base and everything lifting through is what the kids need today, so that they're not going just to get it there. Then we've got to unteach an enormous amount. Does that make sense? Now what I do, did I have is to teach it out of passing, so they're not thinking about it. Can I get you? He throws me bounce passes. 1, 2, my footwork. So I'm going 1, 2. I want you to pass the ball this way. I want you to pass it like that with your hand there. No, not you. Good student. Throw the ball, bounce pass. 1, 2. 1, 2, pass. 1, 2, hey, pass a little bit higher, pass a bit higher, pass a bit higher, pass a bit higher. Now they're not thinking about shooting the ball, they're just going, now touch the roof, now get your feet just off the ground. And all of a sudden, they've done all this repetition on trainer wheels, in the nets, at the driving range. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Is that enough for a night? It's a fair bit of process. Yeah.
Yeah, look, that's fantastic. We really do appreciate you coming out, and I think it's fantastic timing for us where the club's at in many respects. I feel like we're going a new direction and really trying to get a lot going forward. I think it's fantastic timing to get the first meeting and present that. We'll try and get these coaches meetings going consistently throughout the year, so maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks we might catch up again. They're not going to go this long. Like Andy said, none of us know it all, so I suppose with my background, it's going to be a little bit, I'll be able to bring a new perspective, I suppose, and get more of the movement and the bigger picture sort of stuff, the skill learning and the research sort of says in that area. So I'll try and present some of that to you guys. But also on feedback, so we'll sort of see what's working around the club. Some of the stuff Andy will do up today, definitely be happy about implementing that. And let's just get some feedback on what's working, what's not, and then give me some work to do. So if there's something, a way you feel like I can help the club, bring it up then. So like I said, I might present something, but a big part of that is you guys providing feedback from that. So we'll leave it there tonight. That's more than enough, and we'll be in touch about something down the track. And yeah, encourage you to come along tomorrow and lap it up. Thanks, guys.